I'm petty. I'm sorry, finish your question. It was like, yeah, we was all, not taking the shower every day. We was all eating too much, and drinking too much. Words I'm not going to say on your podcast.
Okay.
I don't have any groupies, and I'm trying to get some because I'm not saying that. Whatever happened to social distancing? Like, we can bring that back, though, right? You're a plus size black girl. We know what you're going to be talking about. Are y'all watching Comedy Divas podcast? Because
they need to. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Comedy Divas Gurl Talk podcast, where we welcome funny divas from the stage to the screen to behind the scenes and everywhere in between to tell their stories, because you know what? They just aren't told enough. I'm your host and founder of Comedy Divas, Sharon Brathwaite, aka Sharon B. Welcome. We thank you so much for being here. We have a special diva in the house tonight. But first, please like, subscribe, and follow so we can bring you more great stories. We appreciate the love. So let's bring her in. I'm going to say I'm a fan of this diva. She's just so awesome. Her comedy is just amazing. Miss Erin Jackson. She's a writer, comedian, diehard Eagles fan. We'll get to that. You've seen her on Last Comic Standing. Tiffany Haddish presents They Ready, Hulu's Life and Beth, and Late Night with Steph Myers. And she's a writer on the hit Netflix series, The Upshaws. And her classic joke, The Grudgery, went viral several times, including on Comedy Divas. And that's also the name of her comedy album special, which we'll talk about. So please welcome Erin Jackson. Yay! Hello, Miss Jackson. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's cold. I'm cold. It's freezing in my apartment.
This weather is weird. It's been kind of crazy.
Like, I had to take off my robe. I was like, I can't do this podcast in a robe, can I?
Listen, you can do whatever you want. Oh. First, I have to say, congratulations to your Eagles.
Thank
you. As a diehard Giants fan, I'm just going to give you your props. But congratulations. This is probably the one time Giants fans were rooting for Eagles.
Thank you. I had a huge part in it, just so you know. Yeah, it was kind of all me.
Well, take your credit, girl. Absolutely. when you get the ring ceremony, just post it so we can see. So we want to talk about everyone's journey. You have a unique path. Everyone does. So tell us how you got started in comedy, and when did you know you were funny?
Well, I feel like those are very different questions, obviously. I probably knew I was funny early, right, in my life, but I was never like a clown or anything like that. I'm always the kind of person who was like make a snarky remark under their breath and only the person next to me heard it. So I don't think a lot of people who knew me but didn't know me well would even think I was funny. Right. Because if you weren't up on me, then you didn't know that I had anything to say because I wasn't loud or anything like that. So I was secret funny for a while. And then I started comedy on a dare. I was dating a guy and we were just talking about like, oh, what kind of things would you try if you could try anything that you haven't, tried yet in your life? Like, what would, and I don't know where it came from at the time. I said comedy and yeah, and that kind of just popped it off. I went to, he and I were going to go see a comedy show at the Improv in DC, and we went on the website and they had a 1-day seminar, like learn everything you could learn about how to be a comic in one afternoon, which whatever. But I signed up for it and it kind of just took off from there.
What did you think you were going to do? What do you think your career path was before deciding to become a comedian?
Oh, I worked in marketing, copywriting. So yeah, I did college view books and just admissions marketing for universities. And then I worked at a higher education newspaper. So I was writing, but nothing fun.
So did you have any comedy influences growing up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was a huge comedy fan. I don't ever think of it this way, but my friends, when they're like, of course you're a comedian. Like they were like, you used to have house parties and then you would turn off the music and put in Def Jam VHS tapes. They were like, you don't remember that? And I was like, They're like, you would like stop the party and be like, no, you gotta watch this. And I do have the whole collection on VHS, but
you didn't say VHS.
I mean, I'm a woman of a certain age.
I appreciate the VHS.
Yeah, you would order the Def Jam whole VHS set. It was a big old box. But yeah, I've always been a huge fan. I mean, I find it interesting. Like people sometimes talk about like who are your favorite comedians. They'll ask comics that a lot. And then they'll ask who are your influences. And for me, those are very different
questions.
Groups of people. Yeah. Yeah, actually. You know, because there are people who I'm a fan of, but I don't do what they do. You know, that's just not how it comes out of my brain. But you know, growing up, I was a huge fan of Adele Givens. Oh my God. She's one of the reasons why I do this. And when first time I met her, I just was like, oh my God, I've adored you since forever.
Talk about Def Jam classic, her Def Jam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classic. Yes.
And she's still so funny now. Like I can think about, I don't want to say how old but I was young watching Adele. No, not that I don't want to say how old I am, but I don't want to do that to Adele and be like, yo, I was however, you know, but I watched her when I was really young and I saw her, probably the last time I saw her was maybe a couple years ago, but just killing it, still finding things to talk about and being hilarious. And that's the best part about comedy. Cause you know, I mean, people will have you think in the entertainment industry that you age out and people aren't interested. I mean, actors say that all the time.
Absolutely.
I think it's right. And I think it's so ridiculous when it comes to comedians because it's like you've just lived more life and have more things to talk about the older that you are. And
absolutely. Joan Rivers was just still knocking it out. Even Betty White was still hilarious until, you know, she was 99 when she left.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I love Adele. I loved Ellen. Like I just have, you know what I mean? I was a huge Cosby fan. I can't unbe a fan.
Yeah, we're Cosby kids. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I went to see him for the first time when I was like in junior high because my dad loved him. So I've had a lot of people that I admire. I can't compare myself to them, but also Chris Rock. Also, you know, there are just so many people. I'm just a fan of comedy.
We always ask our ladies if you had a Mount Rushmore of Black women in comedy, and it can be stand-up or actresses. Who would your Mount Rushmore be?
That's not fair. Because of course I'm going to leave someone out that I'm going to want to add. I mean, obviously for me personally, just my Mount Rushmore. Yes. It's definitely Adele. It's Whoopi. I mean, even just in my life, I would say Wanda. And maybe I'm swapping people out. And then, you know, there are so many contemporaries that I find that are so funny.
Yeah, go for it.
And now I can't think of anybody because I don't want to.
Like, girl, you ain't saying me.
Yeah, no, I don't even want to do that. There's so many talented Black women doing comedy right now. And the best part about comedy in 2025 is you have equal access to people, right? It's like now it's not about like who got a late night set and who, you know, you can just go to people's social media and see how hilarious they are. So, you know.
Okay, I'll take the pressure off.
Yeah, please do. I mean, I have a number of people, but I don't want to start naming names.
Well, when I tell you this story, you probably maybe want to put her on this. I don't know if you remember when we first actually met was when I was a producer on Soul of a Nation, and you came in to do our comedy segment for our In the Kitchen with Sunny, and Michelle Buteau was there with you. And
no, she's fantastic.
She's amazing. You guys worked off each other so well, and the sisterhood and the way you guys bounced off each other was just so fun. It really, really was.
We have known each other for a long time.
You could tell it was fun. You guys really, really, I mean, it was like ping pong back and forth. It was like bam, 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 bam. And one of the things you guys said, which was interesting, I remember you saying the time you guys worked the most was Black History Month. That was like the time. Is it still that case?
Black History, February and March, Black History Month and Women's History Month. And not so much anymore. I mean, when Michelle and I first met, we were really heavy into the college circuit. So absolutely. Back then, when it's colleges, yes, that's who they're bringing in. they're bringing in women and they're bringing in Black people in February and March for their programming. So it was absolutely, it's not so much the case anymore. I mean, we are doing so many different things in our career now that it's just like, she's got a whole TV show.
Right.
So, and I was writing on the show. So it's not like just who's bringing me to perform as much, but I'm sure that still holds true. I'm sure the colleges are still doing that. It's like, when we have to spotlight you, I guess we'll do it.
I guess.
Yeah.
And one thing that helps, with colleges, I'm sure, is that you do basically clean comedy, which everyone doesn't do. And I feel it's an art and I really respect it. Was it a conscious decision to do more clean comedy, or is it just not your style to be more blue?
So it's so funny because I don't think of myself as so clean, but other people will describe
You
it
are.
that way. I think that maybe you just don't hear the things I'm saying. Like sometimes I think maybe I'm smiling and you don't hear it. But no, I mean, it was definitely conscious, probably early on, more so just because you have more opportunities. I mean, I don't, I'm probably much more, loose in real life than I am on stage. But, for me as a young comic, and I didn't live in New York or LA, I'm just trying to make it out on the road and work as much as possible. If I was going to work colleges, I want to work the most amount of colleges. So I want to be able to work the, conservative women's colleges and the Catholic schools. And
Exactly.
I worked cruise ships. So then, being clean helped with that. And so you just had more people willing to buy what you were selling if you could do corporate, colleges, cruise ships. It wasn't always the most fun gigs, but they paid. So I learned early on that the cleaner you are, and then to write jokes. I think it just came to the point where to me it's fine if you cuss, I cuss, but like if I can write a joke that doesn't require it and I just add something back in because that's how I talk, that's one thing. But I never wanted a curse word or something crass to be the punchline of a joke, because then I don't find it funny. Exactly. I personally don't find it funny, for me. Yeah.
So you kind of, stumbled upon stand-up. What was your first time on stage like? Was it like a rush, or were you nervous? What was that like when you finally did comedy?
I was both of those things. It was a rush. I was nervous. It was in a sushi bar.
Sushi bar.
On P Street in DuPont Circle in DC. Probably like 3 minutes I had to do, but it was great. I mean, I know I wasn't funny. There's still video of it that a friend of mine has, but it felt fun. Like I enjoyed it. And so I was like, oh, I definitely want to do that again. So.
And what are some of the things have come a long way for Black women in comedy, but what are some of the obstacles you faced over the years?
Well, just looking like this, right? Because back in the day, I mean, it's still the case that when you get booked, people want to see what you do, but we had to like physically, send out videotapes and CDs at some point, just to show a clip. And some people they're like, oh no, I know what that's going to be, right? You're a plus size Black girl. We know what you're going to be talking about, or we know exactly what your act is, and people just making assumptions.
Oh, wow.
Not ever listening. And then just being a woman, period. I mean, still to this day, there's not, if you're looking like mainstream in terms of clubs, you can look at a calendar and see that the, 45 weekends out of the 52 are going to be men headlining these rooms. So that's always been a challenge too. So yeah, the whole women aren't funny thing, people buy into it.
It's absolutely crazy that people still say that to this day. I just don't understand that. So what have been some of the highs though, on stage? Was somebody you performed for is like, oh my gosh, I can't, or someone that said they liked your show, or you were surprised? What are some of the highs of doing your stand-up?
Yeah, no, it's always great when somebody that you admire is recognizes what you do. Some nights it's just being in the back of the club and somebody slid in, a bigger name comic slid in and caught some of your set and has nice words, more than anything, it's just kind of validating. There are times when you're just like, oh, this is not working, I'm gonna have to give me a job, right? Like,
Right.
and then somebody you get a little something that just says, oh, don't give up, right? It might not be money or anything like that, but it might be, you know, when I did the Ellen show, it was Ellen seeing me, and I was like, how does she know who I am? And it just invited me on her show to do stand up, and I was such a, you know, huge fan of Ellen. It was just one of those times where I was just like, okay, well, maybe I do have a shot. If she thinks I'm good, maybe I definitely shouldn't quit this year. Maybe I'll give it another year. And so it's things like that. I mean, I've had great opportunities. I had opportunity to, you know, shoot a special with Tiffany for Netflix.
And what was that like, shooting Tiffany Haddish's They Ready for Netflix? Because I mean, it was great that she looked back and gave the opportunities for other people to come up to do They Ready, and you did season 2, correct?
I did.
So what was that
like? It was during COVID, so that one was a challenge because, you know, they're like, we're gonna tap some people who have been around for a while because you know, we didn't really have an opportunity to prep our set. There was no stage time. It was like, you're gonna have to tape a special in October, but you haven't been on stage. You can't try out this material. If you're, you know, you're doing COVID stuff, but you're just like, I don't know if it's funny and if everybody else is going to be saying the same thing. Because the thing about COVID that I found was crazy was, you know, there's so much obviously creativity and life experience that goes into stand up, but I feel like, just at least in my career, this is the first time where literally everybody was having the same experiences. We were all going through the same thing. Absolutely. So when we came out of it, everybody was talking about the same thing. Right? Because there was not, you didn't have any, you know, it was like, yeah, we was all, you know, not taking the shower every day. And we was all eating too much, you know, and drinking too much. And so it was like, am I going to have anything different to say than what everybody else is saying? I don't know what they're going to be talking about. What if I get up there and somebody's done, you know? So it was kind of, it was nerve wracking in that, like, I hope this is funny. I'm going to tell a comedian friend of mine, a couple comedian friends, I'll be like, you know, just calling them up, like, on Zoom, like, hey, is this funny? Because I'm gonna do it on Netflix next week. So, you know, that was definitely a challenge. And you had an audience that was, you know, we shot it outside, but the audience has on masks, and so you're like, are they laughing? Like, you don't. it was just who knows? But it turned out well, and I was happy with it, and excited about it.
Yeah, it turned out really well. And they still, you know, hype it up on Netflix. I see it as a suggestion all the time. So that's really awesome. Okay. Yeah, I do. And you know, something you I remember you saying about COVID, you kind of like in one of your jokes, you said you missed it, you liked it because people kind of stayed away from you.
I did like social distancing. Whatever happened to social distancing? Like, we could bring that back though. That can stay.
I can relate. Sometimes I'm in line somewhere and I'm like, why are you so close to me? I miss those barriers.
I know. I wish they put them circles back on the floor.
Circles back on the floor. And what are some of your, I know, which is interesting, I want to know some of your comedy goals, because, you know, a lot of people want to be an actor, but that's not what you want to do. So what are your comedy goals?
You know, I just want to keep working. I mean, I enjoy writing. It's a little slow in the industry right now, but I would like to get back on another show and write, or, you know, sell another show of mine. That to me feels like a little bit more of a life, you know, as the years pass by. I mean, I love stand-up comedy. I love the travel of it, and I've done so much of that. You know, it was really not. I wrote on the Upshaws for 4 seasons, and it's definitely nice to have a job where when you're done.
Let's talk about the Upshaws. Yeah. That was a great, fun show. You had an amazing cast. How did you get to write on the Upshaws?
Well, I let's see. Right before the Upshaws started taping, I had written on a show with for Wanda's production company. She and her producing partner. I had done a show for them. And when that show wrapped, they were like, hey, you know, we're going to be hiring more writers for the second season of Upshaws. They had gotten renewed, and they were like, you know, submit to the showrunner, you know, submit. a script that you've written, and I did, and we interviewed and it went well, and so I, it was nice. I'm so glad to have that connection to be able to get just somebody to read my script. But it was great because I absolutely adored writing for, especially, I mean, the whole show, obviously. I mean, Kim Fields, a legend, Mike Evans, but Wanda, I know her voice comedically, like I hear it in my head because I just know her comedy so well. So it was really funny to write. Because besides her, I was the only other stand-up in the room. So it's like, I know she's gonna kill this line, or I know exactly how she's gonna deliver it, or that she could pull this thing off, but she wouldn't say it this way. So it was really a treat to like watch, the words come to life for all of the actors, really. Because the other stuff that I had written, it wasn't like, especially when you're just writing for clip shows and stuff like that, like just those funny video shows, it's like my experience is just writing for me. So every joke I write is for me to tell, but to have the opportunity to write for people who are so talented in delivering the lines, it was fun.
And did you have a favorite episode of the Upshaws?
Oh man. Some of my favorite episodes of the Upshaws are the episodes that did not happen. Sometimes you write an episode and it gets scrapped for whatever reason and we don't get to shoot, and then we have to change it and rewrite it, and some funny stuff gets left on the floor, man. But there's an episode this coming season. I can't even talk about that. Let's think about we finished writing, but there's still a season that's not aired yet.
Gotcha.
But man,
any fun guest stars that came on there that you wrote for?
Oh man, Marsha Warfield, so funny.
I mean, talk about one of the best,
right? Yeah, and just she's gonna hit it.
Legend.
Frankie Faison was fantastic when he was on. Kim Whitley obviously is hilarious. She's Wanda hilarious. And Kim Fields' sister. Yeah, so we had some real gems in terms of guest stars, and some. Ooh, we got a surprise this coming season.
Ooh, can't wait to see.
Of a guest star. Yeah. It's amazing, historic. So was really happy to be a part of that.
Well, what I like to encourage too with Comedy Divas is that, there are different, lanes to take in comedy, and you are not only a great stand-up, but you do write. I'm sorry. So what's some advice you give to somebody who may, maybe I want to try writing as well? What should they start out doing? Should they do spec scripts? Should they do writing, submitting? What should people do if they want to do comedy writing?
So I suggest writing your own original script, right? Not so much spec script. I don't even know if that's a thing that people are looking at or for these days right now. I think, writing an original script, coming up with an idea and writing an original script so people can hear, what your voice is, how you talk, how you express through dialogue. It's great. Like, have that, because when you decide you want to start, interviewing and submitting for work, you're going to have to submit an original script to that, show. And if you only have a spec script for, I don't know, whatever show, Chicago Fire, right? Like, that's not going to help you with all the other. So you want to write your own original script, write it by yourself. Do not write a script with someone else and then try to use that when you interview. So make sure that you have written an entire script for yourself and get started on that behind the scenes, man. I think that's the most important part. And, if you're already a comedian, then you probably have a good idea so far of like how you write, what you think is funny. And, and as you're writing, I think this was a big thing for me, because when I started writing my own scripts, I realized I was obviously crafting stories just, kind of brand new in my head, but I was not utilizing stories that I already had. Like if I had something in my stand-up, or I had a story that I had already told on stage, or, a story from my life, I was trying to create brand new stuff out of nowhere. And it's like, no, you have this wealth of experience already.
Yes.
If you look at Bill Cosby's stand-up, a lot of that was in the Cosby Show, right? Yep. And you see, and you're like, oh yeah, because so take from your life. Don't work. So it's too much work to create brand new, and what I learned is that like that's all a writer's room is, right? It's a collection of diverse people with diverse backgrounds, and they are making the story based on things that happened to them. Oh, this happened to me, or when I was in this situation, this happened, and or when I did it, this happened, and that's where you come up with the story. So it's really just from your life, and it's much easier when you remember that instead of trying to like, I don't know, recreate the wheel.
Right. And what people should understand too, when you are working in, whether it's for a TV show, whether it's for a sitcom or a drama, it is a collection of people. You are writing, it's your script per se, but then it's a group thing as well, correct?
Absolutely. We we will all come together as a writer's room, right, to come up with the story and what's going to happen in the episode and kind of beat by beat, right? And then the person who scripted is then takes all those notes and then goes home and writes a script, and they can add their little flavor. But we've done the job together to come and give you like the broad outline of what it is, and then the person will go, I'm sorry, is that the question you're asking?
Yes.
Am I answering the right thing? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the person who is assigned the episode will then go off for a week or whatever and actually take all those notes, pepper in their stuff, and then write the actual script. And then we still go back and revise it together. So it's like a group project, then it's a solo project, then it's a group project again. But
and then
that's
something I do know too is that you're still writing the week of filming, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Right. And then because every run through, so the person, we came up with the idea, the person went off to write the script, they brought it back, and then we started, then we have a table read. And then after the table read, we see what worked and didn't work, and then we rewrite it. And then we see it live on stage in a run through. And then after that, we rewrite it again. And then the next day we see another run through, and then we rewrite it again. Then we shoot it. So we have so many bites at the apple, it doesn't have to be perfect right away, obviously.
Right.
So
you have to see how the actors deliver it, and it might not work.
Not work. They might come up with something better on the stage. That's the beauty of working with comedians, because Mike might have something funnier that he just thinks of or says, and then we're like, put that in the script, or just don't put it in the script and let's just see what he does, and that kind of thing. So you watch it come alive, and then you just revise. Writing is rewriting.
Writing is rewriting. Yes, don't get married to any one thing. Writing is rewriting. Yeah, that's a great point. Speaking of writing, one of my favorite things you've written was the Grudgery.
I Googled my high school arch nemesis the other day. We all do it. You Google people you used to hate to see if their lives suck now, right? I Googled my high school arch nemesis, and the first result was a mugshot, and it made my day. It made me very happy. I was just hoping she was fat now too, but prison, like, wow. Beyond my wildest dreams.
And that's a great joke. It's the joke that keeps on giving and giving, because it's gone viral several times. Yeah. And we've had it on Comedy Divas platform. I think you have like over 3 million views of it. And it's also the name of your album. So can you talk about how you came up with the joke, the Grudgery, for those who don't know, and we'll play
I'm petty. I'm sorry, finish your question.
You keep going. That's how you came up with the Grudgery.
That's how I came up with it. I'm petty. I hold grudges. I don't let stuff go. I hold grudges on behalf of my friend, and I wanted to make a living doing it. Because people will say like that, you can make a living doing that, and I wish I could. And that's where the joke came from. Not only was it my album name, but I wrote a show called Grudgery, like a half-hour show, and I sold it to HBO Max. It didn't get made, but I got paid. And
well, congratulations for that. Into that point. That's hard.
No, it is hard, but I find it so funny because I always worry that it's negative. You know what I mean? Like, I don't put negative energy. It's a joke out into the world. But I think people, the comments every time it catches fire again are so funny, and I think we're still going to do something with that. So.
I hope you do, because we all can relate to it. That's why it's so funny, and everyone has so many. I've seen the comments on them. Whenever it's posted, I see it again. Oh, that the Grudgery again. Whoever posted the comments, people love it. They're like, "Where can I sign up?"
Right.
I'm with you.
I'm a franchise, and I'm like, Erin, you better get on and do something for somebody steal this idea, and I'll be real mad. So I was like, let me let me get out there and try to make something else happen. But yeah, that's kind of what I guess I'm known for in social media, if anything. And I'm cool with it.
Really funny. Ali Wong talks about the quality of groupies that male comics get and female comics get. What has been your experience with male fans?
I don't have any groupies, and I'm trying to get some because I'm not saying I'm gonna leave with them, but it would be nice to have them. Like, where y'all at? Are y'all watching Comedy Divas podcast? Because
they need to.
they are not in my DMs. So that's troubling. But no, I mean the few that I've had, yeah, no, it ain't going. There's no good stories there, unfortunately. But I wouldn't mind some groupies. No stalkers, but groupies for sure.
And what I asked you, like, what would be or who would be your dream person to work with?
I mean, I would love to work with Whoopi. I really would. I mean, I would love to work in some capacity on a show or under Shonda Rhimes.
Hello.
Man, I mean, I don't know if you know that's talent, but also on the other side, at the writer side. I mean, let's see, who else would I love to work with? I'd love to work with Natasha Rothwell. I think she's just brilliant.
She really is. Yeah. She would steal scenes in Insecure.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And I know Issa, we did this was a deep cut, but she and I co-hosted a talk show for about 3 or 4 seasons on the Aspire Network.
I did see that show. I did. It was for you guys.
Yeah, it was. I think there were 5 of us. There were 5 of us. Because it was Issa, Melinda Williams, me, Angela Burt Murray, and Renee
Burt Murray from Essence. Yeah. Yeah.
So like right before she was writing Insecure during our last season on the talk show, she and Larry Wilmore, and then but I would love to work with Issa again.
She's the blueprint. She really has done her thing. Yeah.
She's got a real coaching tree. People that have worked under her and the things that they're doing now, I find, I would love to work with her in that capacity as well. But yeah, there's so much talent out there, man. Obviously, Quinta. I'm sorry, I was about to say call her somebody else's name. It's like I had to get it right in my head. I would love to work with Quinta and
another one, writer, talent, showrunner, just awesome talent. Yeah. I mean, like Abbott and you being a Philly Eagles fan, I think.
I know. Let me tell you something. Nobody in that writer's room is leaving that writer's room. So ain't gonna be no open position. They ain't looking for nobody new. Because they have a good thing going. But you never know.
Positive. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that show. These are just names I'm throwing out in the future.
Of course.
But yeah.
So we like to close off with something we call Diva Dozens. And that's just quick fire questions and just fun questions. And you just tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind. Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, so here we go with Diva Dozen. First celebrity crush.
Patrick Swayze. Because Dirty Dancing was my movie when I was 9. Okay.
Nobody put baby in the corner. Okay. Nobody. I got you. Monopoly or Scrabble?
Scrabble. 100%.
What's your secret talent?
What is my secret talent? I don't know if I have a secret talent.
Or something people be surprised to know that you can do?
Yeah, I can bench press a lot. That's not talent.
How much can you bench?
I can bench 225.
Wow, I'm not messing with you. Okay, thank you for telling me that.
Okay.
And what's your go-to song to sing in the shower?
I Know You, I Live You by Shaka Khan.
Okay. Favorite
Or
city?
Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge, because I do sing that a lot too.
Oh, Rhythm of the Night. I love that song. Favorite city to perform?
DC.
Guilty pleasure TV show.
Oh man. So many. What is my guilty pleasure TV show? Because I'm watching so many TV shows. I mean, it used to be like it would have been a Real Housewives, but I'm kind of out of that now. I love Young African and Rich. Have you watched that? I love that. They are messy. It is.
They're so
love
messy.
I enjoy that. I'm sure there's something messier that I'm watching.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Who'd you rather, The Rock or Jason Momoa?
Jason Momoa. Give me that.
I hear you. Good Times or The Jeffersons?
Oh man. The Jeffersons.
All right. Tequila or vodka?
Neither. Brown liquor.
Brown
Whiskey.
liquor. There you go. Your go-to snack food?
What is my go-to snack for? It would either be like Cheez-Its or like Smart Food popcorn.
Ooh, I love that.
Cheesy popcorn.
Game of Thrones or Walking Dead?
Game of Thrones. I've never watched Walking Dead, not one episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Yeah. And if you could be one of these ladies for the day, who would it be and why? Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, or Eve?
You mean Foxy Brown, the rapper, obviously.
The rapper. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, or Eve? I probably would be Eve.
And why?
First of all, Eve is married to like a billionaire. So I was
sure is.
Nah, I love Eve though. Eve is fly. She's still out there looking good, being fly, living her fabulous life, jet setting. So I'm gonna say Eve right now.
EVE.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming to have fun with us, Erin. Well, like I said, we're a big fan. Keep doing what you're doing. People, where can people find you on social media?
Absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
You can find me at EJ the Comic on everything that you have. Probably I have. And I'll be on tour a little bit this summer. So I don't know when this comes out, but I'll be in Philly in July. I'll be in San Francisco last weekend of May at the Punchline. And then come the fall and winter, I'll be a little bit everywhere. So check me out, erinjackson.net for the tour dates.
And where are you on Instagram?
EJ the Comic. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube.
Awesome. We'll put everything in the description below. We're going to put your handles and we're going to put your tour dates because we want to support you. And we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Jackson. Ooh, thank you so much.
Nasty. Hey.
And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Erin Jackson. We love you. She's one of the best out there doing stand-up today. Please check out her stuff. Check her out in the city near you. Go to her website. Go to her social media. You will not be disappointed. And that has been another episode of Comedy Divas Girl Talk. Please like, subscribe, so we can tell you more stories. We can give you more divas and have more fun. Thank you so much. I'm Sharon B. Bye.